What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Happy Friday to every single one of y'all. We made it to another Friday, boys and girls. Another week has passed by. We are almost halfway through April at this point in time. Today is April 12th, 2024. This is another Market Pulse update. Bitcoin sitting at $66,876 at this point in time. We're diving into some TGI Friday Coinfessions, and of course, checking out if this is the final shakeout. So, boys and girls, I hope all of y'all are tuned in, having a fantastic day as always. And let's kick it off by checking out what Bitcoin's doing. Bitcoin currently sitting at 67,156 at this point in time. Again, you can actually see the overall movement of Bitcoin playing within this wedge that we've been drawing since again back in March, the beginning of March. At this point in time, this is a daily chart. Bitcoin's been quite volatile, as a matter of fact. So many people got straight liquidated today. I think we're almost hit a $1 billion liquidation. Let's take a little look over here. There's been in the last 24 hours, $881 million have been liquidated. Again, folks, one of the fastest ways to get wrecked in crypto is liquor, ladies, and leverage, especially the leverage part. Folks, this is absolutely wild. What's even crazier about that is usually Bitcoin's the higher side, or even Ethereum. This time it's actually pulling it from others. You can see this others just from all the other exchanges actually happening, which is pretty wild. This is one of those things that a lot of people just absolutely got decimated on again in the last 24 hours. There's been $241 million in all the other cryptos that are out there, people doing long and short positions on all of the crypto market and absolutely getting smoked, y'all. You can actually see over here the overall positions of these particular people that again are going short on this. So anyone going short on Bitcoin, even reaching $70,000 again, we're still sitting on almost $1 billion in available liquidations, possibly even $2 billion when you get into the 71,000 or $70,500 mark, going all the way up to 74,000, which is sitting damn near at $3.85 billion and potentials for people to get liquidated. Going the opposite way, people going long saying we're not going down any further, folks. You're absolutely getting smoked right now. Again, this one has a hell of a lot less than $1 billion at this point in time in available liquidations. People are actually shorting a hell of a lot more. In fact, one of the TGI Friday Coinfessions articles that we're going to be looking at today has to deal with this exact topic of the actual leverage position. But neither here nor there, you can see it actually came on down, retested this line perfectly. Folks, it did a perfect bounce off this line right here that we've had drawn. What's crazy is it did a massive little pushback, but again, at one point in time, Bitcoin was sitting at $65,383. This shook a lot of people out. In fact, at one point in time, it's hit a low so far today on this one candle alone, which we have about another 9 minutes before the day ticks over, at $65,230. This is where everyone got absolutely smoked and liquidated on. No one thought the prices were going back down. And again, this all started as of today. You can see it actually managed to go up as high as 71,000 and as low as 65. So within one day, you're looking at Bitcoin with the $6,000 spread. Now, we have seen this before. Most of the time, when you do see these big old red candles, it's followed by a pretty big green candle. So ideally, if that is going to be the case, you would expect a similar situation where we get a nice little red candle right here that you can see, followed by a nice little green candle, right? And so if history seems to rhyme and repeat, we can expect maybe a similar item over here. Again, we've had these red candle days over here, followed by a green candle day over here. You can see back here, red candle day over here, followed by green candle. So what does tomorrow bring us? And again, where day is about to tick over in roughly about another 8 minutes from here, but this is a red candle day. Do we get another green candle day over here tomorrow or in the next few minutes? Where does it actually end up starting? Now, we already know the open price is going to be at 67. So it's just a matter of, does it actually close higher, get back up above this 69,000, possibly even come back and test these levels at 71, 72,000, before it actually decides which way it wants to break out on this ascending wedge or pennant wedge. So pretty crazy stuff going on there. Now, if you look at the impulse MACD, this is something that again I do consider. The impulse MACD is looking pretty bearish on the daily, folks. Again, it actually tried flipping bullish back here on the end of March, and it actually has just kind of gone down since then. Typically, you would love to see that start curving back up with the blue line crossing over into the orange line, thereby making it a nice little bullish curve. But until it likes to do that, this is showing that it still has some downside to it. Now, again, so far the downside has been held by this beautiful support line right here. So it's just a matter of, does it continue to hold that support line? Do we break into a new lower low? Do we start forming new formations? What is the thing and what is the case? We're all about to find out, I am sure, y'all. I am absolutely sure on this one. In fact, if you just pull up a simple fib retracement on this from the all-time high or from the local high at this point in time to a local low, you can see we've actually kind of we've hit all the levels at this point in time. We've tested out the 786. This is a massive level of resistance, it appears to be at this point. So level of resistance right at 71,000. So when Bitcoin does reach that point again, it seems to meet some resistance. Level of support so far seems to be right in this $65,000 range as well. So we've tested this multiple times. It did fall through a couple of them for these few period of days, followed by nice little green candles, followed by a couple more down below. Does it want to actually continue to go on down, or does it actually continue to hold this level of support? Again, we're about to find out, boys and girls. We got the halving coming up. This is typically a time where people are just typically buying the rumor, selling the news. The halving is expected to be on April 19th of 2024. In fact, you can see right over here that's actually expected to happen now on April 20th of 2024, in roughly about 10 days from now. Now, again, this isn't quite up to date on this one, only because, well, I mean, today's the 12th, and the day's about to tick over in terms of the UTC time. So let me see if I can refresh it and see if it makes any difference on that one. Day ticks over in roughly another 5 minutes. But I would say at this point in time, we're roughly about a week away, somewhere in that ballpark, a little bit more than a week. We can still see we need about 1,400 blocks in order to get there, in order to get to the next halving, because it is done based on every 21,000 blocks. So good stuff, y'all. Good stuff. You can see all the information on this dune.com. More than happy to share this with anyone who wants to go check it out. Fascinating information. Now we got Ethereum sitting at 32,400 32,000. Damn, I keep doing that. $3,243. One day Ethereum will be 32,000, and I'll be looking back at this and we'll just laugh together. But it has actually broken below at this point in time this ascending wedge or formation that we had drawn out. It also broke below the 618. You can see that it does tend to follow closely, very closely with Bitcoin. We've pulled up the correlation before on this as well, and you can actually see this information if you'd like to yourself by going over to coinmetrics.com or coinmetrics.io. And you can actually see it's roughly in the 85 to 90 percentile for the um yeah, it's up here at the correlation of 85% between the two, which is very, very correlated, by the way. So again, when one goes up, the other also goes up. When one dips, the other also dips. Literally, I just ticked off that for like half a second. All right, cool. Let's just get that updated real fast. Cool. So does it want to go back in this wedge? Do we go back in this range? Again, if Bitcoin holds and the rhyme and history seem to repeat, we get a red candle day followed by a green candle day. Does it bounce back into this triangle up here like it's been doing? What is the game plan? Again, this is all going to be seen in the next few days for sure. If it does want to go and fall, we've taken a look over here. The level of support would, in fact, be $2,800, a little bit higher than that, roughly about $3,000 for Ethereum. So if you are wanting to possibly scoop up some Ethereum at that point in time, again, I'm not purchasing any at this point for myself because, again, my upside potential target on Ethereum would put it into the $15,000 mark. Again, I've pulled this up before, but again, based on previous where the items end up hitting the 3618, which it did last cycle, it would be around $15,000 if it was to do these similar metric and similar items, which to this point in time at this price would end up being roughly around a 5x if it was to reach the $3,000 mark. So To me, I just see there's a lot more opportunity available. Again, so that's just my own personal preference. But if you are wanting to scoop some up, levels to be searching for or looking for would be the next fib retracement on this one, or the next level of support and resistance, which it appears is around $3,000, anywhere between 2,800 and 3,000. Should it want to continue down? Again, a lot of people got liquidated, and we know what people do. Whenever people see the red candles, people like to also do a panic sell as well. People just follow the candles, right? At this point in time, whenever candles are green, people are super excited. You get FOMO, you start buying in. You see the red candles, people start selling. They don't know what's going on. They didn't hear the news. They don't know why others are selling, but they don't want to be left holding a bag. And if you just hold it into the future long term, none of this matters at this point. This is just a day to day situation. So keep that in mind. Looking at the total overall crypto market cap, we pulled this up last time, but I do anticipate that the total market cap once again ends up hitting upwards of the $10 trillion market cap over here for the total market cap, which would be pretty massive. There's actually speculations as well that the total three has a possibility to possibly reach $3 trillion for its market cap, which would be wild considering the fact that right now we're roughly around 666 billion dollars for that market cap right now for the total three. Again, this is excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. So that would be pretty wild. Just imagine what that means for your bags, folks. Again, I think about some of these numbers and they just turn into massive, massive numbers overall, where many cryptos are going to be reaching the billions dollars in market cap, and several of them are going to reach hundreds of billions, because especially if we're going to end up reaching 3 trillion on the overall market cap is massive. Once again, though, looking at this chart, the impulse MACD is showing a bearish convergence or divergence over here. So looking at the weekly, though, I will still say it is very bullish over here. So again, just a matter of perspective, which way you want to look. This is starting to curve down a smidge. You can see the slightest bit of curve down. So does the momentum continue? We just got to wait and see, folks. We just got to wait and see. What's up? What's up? What's up, Intrepid Pulse X? Yeah, so pleased could finally catch a live stream with our ATX. Much love to Intrepid Pulse X as well, for the first YouTube member. So I appreciate that so much. Alan Fizime, what's up, ATX? Chilling, my guy. Sucks that I bought more Pulse a couple days ago. I wish I'd waited until today. See, everyone's gonna be saying that. And one of the things that you always have to look at is, no matter what, do you think that you're gonna this goes back to the same discussion. Think like some people remember, some people don't. But there's a period of time where there's a sacrifice phase for PulseChain or for PulseX. And if you got in on day one, you did good. If you got in on day three, you did all right. If you got in after day five, you did worse, right? Because of the multiplier, the way it was done, the way the prices were suppressed, all that good stuff. You look back today and you don't worry about what day you got in on. You don't hear anybody talking about, I sacrificed on day 3. You just don't hear that, because at this point in time, it's moot. It's a moot point. This is going to be the same exact situation going on. Now, it is, whenever you have it happen, always the case. I've said this so many times in the past. One of the biggest things that used to always happen to me was I would do a big purchase, and then the very next day, the next couple days, the next week, the price would just start dipping 20, 30, 40%. And I would just, be so upset that it's like, why didn't I just wait? Why couldn't I have done this? Why didn't it take longer for Coinbase to hold the money, and so that way I could take it off? Like, all these items come into play, right? All the whys of what ifs and what could be's and all that good stuff, right? So what I've learned is to do things in a manner that allows you to still purchase. And again, we've discussed this before as well, and I believe I actually have talked about it. Maybe you have seen it on previous streams, but essentially what you do is, instead of going all in on one particular price, for example, right here, trying to go all in on this purchase, you would come in with a third of your purchase, because again, on these red candles, they like to continue that trajectory. So you come in with a third of your purchase here, a third of your purchase here, and heck, if it reaches this price, a third of the price here. And guess what? All those levels got hit, boys and girls. So if you did, in fact, do that, you aren't necessarily as upset, because again, you've allowed you the ability to say, cool, I got in some here just in case, folks. Because here's the thing, you always want to put your foot in the water, you always want to put your foot in the door, get something. Action is better than inaction at the end of the day, no matter what. Because even if you bought at this price right here and the price goes all the way up to these levels up here, we'll say a 10x from now, which is, for some people, a crazy number to even for them to fathom. But let's just say it goes up and reaches these levels up here of 70, 80x, right? Or 10x, which is again right here. It does a 10x. Cool, you could have made a 12x. That's kind of the difference that you look at when you start getting into like the nuances of I could have bought 20% more tokens if I just waited a couple of days. That's true. That's true. But again, instead of your 10x, you would have a 12x. You did good with the 10x, my guy. So you got to be thankful, you got to be grateful for the positions that you have, you got to be grateful for the positions that you have taken. And don't remember to, or just remember to always be grateful for that, because at the end of the day, certain people still don't have the opportunities to even buy within this price. Why? Because they haven't even heard about the project yet. Okay. So you're going to be hearing about this a year from now, 2 years from now, 4 years from now, and people are going to be like, damn, I wish I had known about PulseX when it was all the way back in these prices. Because imagine in the future, folks, we're sitting up here playing in this realm, somewhere in this little region. We're just chilling. This is the new floor, okay? And you're gonna have new people coming in being like, man, I wish I could have been in this range, right? Be grateful, man. Don't again, it's tough to say. It is definitely tough to say, right? Everyone has the mindset of a different mentality for everyone. So one thing I've learned just to help myself get through this is instead of going in with a massive purchase one time, you spread it out over the span of a DCA period, whether that's a DCA over a week, DCA over 2 weeks, DCA over months. Like you got to choose whatever works for you to make it easier, and understand at the end of the day, you're probably not going to capture every bottom and you're probably not going to sell every top. But if you're within a realm of 20, 30% range of those particular regions, you're crushing the game. You are absolutely crushing the game, folks. Like, I would be so thankful if you were buying at this price, because even here, even now, even at like 2 days ago or 4 days ago or whatever, like let's just say April 8th over here, right? Even at this price and you happen to come in at this particular local top, okay? So 0.0043, and it just goes back up to SAC. Well, you got 2.5 extra money. That's incredible. Like, could it have been a little bit more if maybe DCA'd a little bit different? Sure, it would have been a 3x instead of a 2.5x. But are like, guys, don't get like super technical about this stuff. Don't beat yourself up over that, because then you end up not taking any action going forward in the future. Because then you say, well, I want to buy, but I'm just scared that the price is gonna dip again, right? And then I'm scared. I don't know if the price is gonna dip again. And then the price doesn't dip again, and now it's all the way back up here, and guess what? You never bought. Like, and now it's 2x higher than you even started with initially, right? And it's because again, you took no action. So I don't know, man. I just caution everyone with that mindset. I understand where the mindset comes from. It's a valid feeling, but it just leads me to spread a word of caution, to be grateful for everything that you have, be grateful for the positions that you have. Be grateful that you could even take this affording opportunity to even be purchasing some of this, right? And that goes for any crypto in general, folks. And again, like that's just not necessarily like the pulse chain ecosystem and all that good stuff. I'm just talking about when you're into any stocks, any cryptos, any investment at all. If you're if you're around a 10 to 20% region of realm, then you're doing pretty damn good, folks. And again, we'd actually had a big old little shakeout. Was today the final shakeout for all of crypto? Is this the final move that it is what it is? We have the halving coming up very soon. In fact, after the halving, we have the 50-week shakeout period as well. And the 50-week shakeout period isn't too far away. Is this on the hour? What the freak? What in the F? All right, cool. So here's a 50-week shakeout. Happens to be roughly around 12 days after the halving as well. Okay, so it's not too crazy, but it's around April 24th, just to give you a heads up. I don't believe that's going to be the final news where everything's just going to start going like kapoo and just like shoot up to the freaking moon all of a sudden. But this is the 50-week shakeout period that everyone is talking about, right? And so if you're looking over here at some of these areas, damn, we got pretty damn close to breaking out of that little trend that we've actually been holding for quite some time. Very curious. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the parallel channel because we have fallen below it at this point in time. So no point in keeping that on there again until it ends up forming a new parallel channel or whatever the case may be. But at this point in time, whenever I'm pulling up some of these EMAs on here, the 915 still bullish or bearish. The 50 200, again, we bounced off the 200 right here. It became a resistance at that point in time. So I would believe once again that this is going to be another resistance, happens to be pretty damn close to the SAC price, which is a psychological resistance already in and of itself. Current price of PulseChain is 407984. Again, this is a massive little sell off in the span of a couple of days, right? I mean, 37% in the span of 4 days shook several people out. And when people see red candles, it's the candle effect. We just talked about it on yesterday's stream. When you see some of these candles over here, it's the candle effect, man. It affects you mentally. You say, why, if we're going to keep on going down, here's the game people play. If we're going to keep going down, I'm going to sell my position and bag right here. And then the price just pumps. And then you're like, well, shit, I need to buy back in. And then the price dumps. And then you're like, well, damn, I wish I didn't buy back in. And then you sell down here again. It's like you play this position over and over and over, and it just messes you up psychologically. You end up second guessing yourself. So what's an easier thing to do? Spread out your DCA period over the span of a period of time, right? So you start DCAing right here. So I went in on day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6. And you just end up doing this every single day. So that way, no matter what, you captured every bit of all this move at this point in time. And you didn't really have to worry about it because, again, you're like so much less psychologically affected by just doing a simple DCA strategy. But if you do ape in right here, like say for example, you're like, oh no way, we fall below SAC price. No way, there's no way, right? We fell below, it actually bounced right back up. It's clear as day. SAC price is a solid support level. And then you end up going in here, and then you end up seeing this where you end up getting again 20% lower on the position. And you're like, damn, I wish I could have waited. I wish I would have done this. All the things that you end up saying overall. So I just caution everyone again to be careful of that mindset, folks. PulseX sitting at 403058. We did pull this up yesterday. In fact, it basically hit damn near every single support slash resistance level that we had actually drawn on chart. And this is just pretty wild to actually see it all happen within the span of a day. Because again, this is a daily chart right here, or a daily candle. So this one candle hit the first support level that we had drawn out yesterday, hit the second support level that we had drawn out yesterday, and hit the third level that we had drawn out. Wild that all of them got absolutely smacked. Now, again, we actually hit a level of support at this point because, again, you can see even after all of these sells at that point in time, there was a little bit of a buy again. People are not wanting to see that price that low. And it was a nice little 30% increase on that within the span of a day. So, pretty wild stuff. This is a very bullish wick, by the way, when you look at that kind of stuff. If you see a big old wick like this, that's very bullish. That means the market doesn't want the price to go that low, at least not that quick. When you start seeing things form this little pattern right here, that's a base pattern where things are starting to calm down. You start seeing everything kind of like swerve in this situation where it starts kind of curving and kind of going back up again. You can typically see that little stuff, but on moves like this where it just slashes down, yeah, it's going to be something that people don't necessarily want to, they don't want that to be not at least that quickly. They don't want that to be a possibility. Now, I'm not going to say that that is guaranteed to always be the final bottom of this one. Has Pulse finally hit its absolute local bottom at this point in time? There's no way of knowing. It does actually see on this particular chart, whenever I pull this up, we've had this particular trend line drawn out all the way back since September or August at this point in time. So we've had this thing drawn out for quite some time, and it actually came down. Whoopsie, it actually came down and ended up touching that level of the trend line at this point. Now, doesn't want to go have bet doesn't want to go about continuing and holding this. It can absolutely go about continuing and holding, but also it can come down and play around here, probably dip below, become resistance, dip below, resistance, breakthrough, support, all these things. And this is definitely how that system could end up playing out. So keep that in mind for all of it, folks. It definitely Definitely matters. But I do hear you, man. I do. I really do. It is one of those that you are going to feel that way whenever you end up doing a big purchase and the price dips. It just happens that way. Me too. My made my biggest buy 10 days ago. Mexican lost in Asia. Congrats. Prospector, good morning. Good morning. Another ATX live stream. Dope. What's up? For sure. Not gonna remember these dumps when we start running up. You absolutely will not. One on top says, hope to get some money to add to my bag in like 5 days. Not sure if I can still catch some dip. Yeah, and that's the other thing. Like that's what I'm saying. Like you have other people who are like, damn, now they see the dip happening and now they're trying to transfer money in. And then you run into the issues of the bridge, for example, where you start kind of getting a little bit nervous because now the bridge isn't necessarily going through within 30 minutes. It's taking 2 hours because everyone's trying to bridge their items over. And, it just adds that little extra level of anxiety. And so if you can just prepare yourself to have some capital ready to deploy in the off chance that the prices happen to dip, and then have a plan in place so that way when the prices dip you can set yourself up with the 5 P's of proper preparation, preventing poor performance, folks. Absolutely is what matters on that one, right? And when you end up in that situation, it does make life that much easier, folks. It is Friday, guys, so let me actually hit you with a little Friday here real quick. Give me 1 second.
It's Friday then, it's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's live again, 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 it's Saturday, Sunday. You don't got no boyfriend, you can meet at the hotel room. You can bring your girlfriend and meet me at the hotel room. You don't got no boyfriend, you can meet at the hotel room. You can bring your girlfriend and meet me at the hotel room. What? It's Friday then. What? It's Friday then. You guys ready? Saturday, Sunday, what?
All right, all right, all right. Yo, it's Friday, folks. Another day getting closer on to the next all-time high. Continue to be patient, continue to wait, continue to be diligent, and you will be rewarded, folks. Checking out over here some TGI Friday Coinfessions. This is what I was mentioning just a moment ago. They said I had 400,000 savings in Bitcoin, which I used to trade throughout 22 and 23. Had success until the beginning, at the beginning, shorting Bitcoin until January of 2023 when prices just kept going up, and I kept doubling down and adding to the short positions and ended up cutting my trades with huge losses. Now I only have $20,000 in a dream. I will make it back and then some this bull market. Can you freaking imagine? So, like, you're upset that the purchase that you have wasn't 20% more than you could have gotten. And this dude just lost $380,000 short trying to short Bitcoin. Yo, when are people gonna learn, man? When are people gonna learn? I'm in mid depression right now. Lost focus on my academic work due to crypto. Spend hours hunting for meme coins, which mostly end up as rugs. Really need to focus on my academics. Final year uni student, and I still have hopes though. Believe I will make it. I just need to find that one trade, one soul, and one dream. I will be back. Keep aping. Yo, people just don't get it, man. they just don't get it. They just won't learn. Uh-uh. They just won't learn, folks. They just won't learn. I see my boy in the chat. What's going on, PS Joe? How you doing, my friend? What's up? Just bought more Hex. Yeah, of course. Always a good time. Always a good time. Always a good time. It really is, folks. In this situation, again, to see these prices on where they are is absolutely incredible. To see the opportunity that's available for every single person right now, today. All right, what else we got over here? I started dating a girl a year ago and she's perfect. I'm so happy. But I had $15,000 worth of but she had $15,000 worth of credit card debt. So I sold my Bitcoin. That took years to accumulate at $30,000. Now that the value of Bitcoin has more than doubled, I can't help feeling resentful towards her. I wish I didn't feel like this. Oh, snap, man. Loss of words on that one. Not even sure what to say. That's if you have a spouse, if you have a significant other and you end up making it big in the crypto world and the crypto game and the crypto sphere, be mindful about what you share, what you do and how you end up doing it. To end up selling your entire position to pay off credit card debt is not necessarily the right way of doing it. I sold my weed farm and came into the first real chunk of legal cash. I love it. And an old friend onboarded me into crypto. First ETH, then into Hex, telling me an upcoming ecosystem called PulseChain is going to be the next big thing. I converted all my ETH into Hex and sacrificed for PulseX sacrifice only to see my 50K investment into crypto drop below $10,000. Thankfully for me, it's been a learning experience, and I have started diversifying into other cryptos and have been able to make my losses back. Well, there you go, folks. We got another for a Pulse Chain ecosystem guy right there on Coinfessions. Love and hate seeing it, I guess. I stacked to 3 mil, quit my job. I target $10 per food. Let me try that one more time. I target $10 per day for food, shop at Dollar Tree, and let nothing go to waste. I drive a salvage title 2008 car. My trading desk is $400 Lenovo, and I tell people I'm a consultant and I have a fake LinkedIn page sitting on and living off cash in the lowest 1 to 2 tax brackets, depending on the year, because of interest income. Life is good. Well, there you go. Met my wife in 2019. Met my now wife in 2019. I got a late start into my adult life and didn't have a lot of money saved up for a ring. However, I made a nice return during the crypto bull run in 21 and used it to buy a great looking ring. The salesperson at the jewelry store was visibly surprised when I turned down financing. I have since been steadily dollar cost averaging back into Bitcoin and am ready for this run. I hope to use it for a future down payment on a larger home. That's the right mindset right there. And look how long it's going to take on some of those folks. It takes time. Been in crypto since 2017 and have had multiple opportunities to make millions, but my life circumstances always made it hard to hold. Made $300,000 in bonk at the beginning of this run and was going to go all in on Pepe at its lows, but didn't. Instead, I cashed out, bought a house, and now it feels like a prison. I think about the future. I should have had every day. I'm 42 and time is running out. I feel like time is not running out. Like, it's crazy that people have this mindset, man. And that's the reason why I like bringing some of these up and all of it as well. But like, it's crazy that you have that mindset. You did well. You turned however much money. Again, they never say how much they started with. Maybe they started with 250,000 and they turned into 300. I don't know. But they turned some money into even more money. They did fucking great. And then they're like upset at themselves for not doing better. Like again, greed's a bitch, y'all. I promise. Greed's an absolute sucker. It'll get you every time. So you gotta learn to be grateful, man. At the end of the day, be thankful that you even have the opportunity in front of you right now to try to take advantage of what you got going on right now. My significant other doesn't really appreciate the significance of my crypto gains despite earning $8 million by holding Ethereum through 2 bear markets and starting to diversify into ETFs last year. Her acknowledgement remains subdued. While it's admirable that she doesn't really care about money, some recognition for my financial achievements would be nice. That's the other thing too. People think that, making all this money is going to change your life in terms of everyone's going to start looking at you like you're the fucking man. Like you are the top G. And I've seen relationships absolutely ruined over this because the guy typically focuses so much on the money to be made and doesn't focus on everything else. So while they made $8 million, congrats. They giving up a lot of the time spending with family and other items, and that's typically all that their focus is on. And so I can understand where their partner is kind of coming from, right? you have to look at it from a perspective that like not everyone again that's good money. Like $8 million, fucking congrats. But again, when you make it all about just the money, it just means you're probably a shitty person, unfortunately. Like when you make the money, it just makes even more of that particular personality trait even more. So if you're a shitty person, typically when you make the money, you just become a shittier person. If you're a great person and you make the money, you become an even better person. So it's just one of those things that when I hear those stories, yes, some recognition would be wise and smart, but half the time they would even give some recognition and they wouldn't even feel like it's enough, right? They like their partner could say, "I'm so proud of you for making that kind of money. Now can we go and do this?" And they're like, "Well, you didn't talk about it enough. I need you to tell me that I'm the fucking best. I'm the best. I did this," right? Like I've seen that ruin relationships so many times, especially whenever the market comes. So, guys, get your fucking mindset right, please, for the love of all that is. I probably was one of the most bullish MFers in my group. Was bullish at 15K, 20K, 30K, so I decided to leverage long. Ouch. With most of my portfolio back in July of 2023, seeing as how BlackRock ETF wasn't anything but bullish, got liquidated August 17th of 2023 and watched as my bullishness come true and Bitcoin went to all-time high. I can't talk to people in my group anymore because their success is a reflection of my failure. And what kind of friend would I be if I wasn't anything but positive for their success? I hope they make billions, even though I'm doomed to fail. And so often do people get caught up in this little argument world as well, where it's like, I've lost the money and it's no longer possible. Guys, there's people hearing about crypto right now for the first time today. First time. And they're going to go make a whole lot of fucking money. Right? But it's like, but then you end up in this situation where you see people make a whole lot of fucking money. They get very bullish. They do something stupid like leverage themselves, which we just went over the leverage numbers a moment ago. And they're pretty absolutely ludicrous, y'all. It is wild to see some of these numbers. Let me see. Do I have anything on this one? I've exited to repay. Oh, that's cool. So I left a stable government job for another opportunity in mid 2022. Part of the rationale for leaving was so I could invest my retirement funds from that job into Bitcoin. Throughout mid to late 2022, I rolled my life savings of $210,000 into IRAs, investing everything into Grayscale Bitcoin while it was at a 30 to 50% discount. It was a stressful run, at one point being down 30 to 40%. I held through. Today my accounts are worth 600,000. I've basically earned almost 2 decades worth of retirement contributions. With this decision, I've exited half of the Bitcoin to repay my traditional retirement self. Congrats, man. Congrats on this. I'm a one-to-one NFT artist. I don't know what the one-to-one means, but maybe y'all do. And constantly see NFT collectors on Twitter talk down to artists how to run their NFT career. Do this, do that, stay pure, don't degen. Yet I'm out here learning how to invest like trade like a degen and have made more money on coins and trading NFTs than my own art. About 200,000. I hope artists know that no one should tell you what to do or how to box yourself in to a mold. Seize the opportunity around you. And at the end of the day, accept whatever choice you fucking make. Okay? Accept whatever choice you make. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters. That is absolutely matters. Yeah, one of one. Okay. One of one. Thanks, Hex and Lost in Asia. Let me read through some chat real fast, folks. We're gonna probably wrap it up soon on this one, just to give everyone a little heads up on this. Just let me go through some chat, say hello to some beautiful people who have come through on the stream. Much love to every single one of y'all. What up, my friend? Just bought more Hex. Yeah, absolutely. We got some little rave going on. You gotta pump it up. You gotta pump it up. Pump it up. You gotta pump it up. Should we play that? We'll play a little bit real quick. Always fun, y'all. Always fun. I like how Hex is the only token that is a scam when it drops. Yeah, it's funny, right? Lol. What's up, Tin Top? How you doing? LP and Pulse X is like having a paid off rental home. Who cares if the value of the property goes down if you're still making income every day from it? Facts on facts on facts, y'all. Like when you get paid, you don't really give two Fs. And then when you get paid in the ink token, oh my gosh, at the end of the day, you can look at however much you end up having, but just imagine a world, folks, where ink's back up to I don't do the math yourself. Do whatever number it makes sense for you. But I look at some of these numbers and I'm like, okay, ink sitting at, $4 right now. And at one point in time, it hit a low of like $3 and some change, right? $2.94. Right. And so like I'm looking at this in particular for this chart and hit this low today at $2.94 right now. And you're like, wow, that's crazy. And then I do the math and I say, what if it just ends up going back up to $10? My gosh. Oh my gosh. A nice little 3.5 extra money. Incredible. What if you get to earn that every day? So you don't even have to worry about buying. You can do that by yield farming, Pulse and Pulse X, not financial advice. That is probably one of the least risky plays to yield farm in. And yeah, when you end up starting to yield farm, you just want to ape all of it in. So just be smart, consider all of your efforts and all of the reasons as to why you are doing what you are doing at the end of the day. She's an unappreciative for an $8 million dude. Some women have no concept of money. To make $1 million is not easy. You're a 1% dude. 1,000%. Mexican lost in Asia, you're right. But again, it's not always about that. It's also about the relationship, man. Like money doesn't just solve everything, guys. It really doesn't. Promise you. Does it make things a little better? For sure. Does it make life a little easier? For sure. But then you end up doing stupid shit like going and buying fucking, $200,000 cars when you have $8 million. And then you're like, did I really need to spend that kind of money? And then you say, I make the money, so then you turn into a dick, right? I make the money, so I'll fucking spend my money however I want to spend it. I don't know, man. I don't know their relationship, but I assume these dudes probably need to work on themselves a little bit too, right? At the end of the day, it's not always just about how much money you make, because your $8 million to some fucking multi-billionaire is nothing. You're an insignificant fucking insect, right? And to us, it is considered a lot because you're like used to working $100,000 a year job, and you're like, how long would I have to work for to make $8 million if I actually earned $100,000 a year? And then you're like, I would have to work 80 fucking years in order to make that kind of money, and I just did it even better. So yeah, that all of a sudden makes sense. Again, there are levels to everything, right? So it's like while it could be a lot of money for you, to some that's just a drop in the bucket, right? There's people who are CEOs making $8 million a year, and it took you however long it took you to make that. And so like, oh, congrats, you made $8 million and it took you 8 years. Congrats, little boy, right? But that's still a lot of fucking money. So at the end of the day, it just is all about perspective, right? It's not just about that's a lot of money. Sure. It's all about what you are, who you are, your relationships with your friends, with your family. Are they healthy relationships? Are they good relationships? Are you fit? Or do you stay in shape? Did you let everything go to waste? Did you let your physical go to waste to focus on gaining the financials, which a lot of times people do. So if you can again narrow down on some of the focus on that one, makes things a little bit easier, y'all. It really does. But at the end of the day, folks, everyone's going to have to make their own decisions. I consider all of this to be a beautiful opportunity. All these prices, could it be a final shakeout? Sure. Could it go down some a little bit lower? Sure. Do you have a plan in place for either option? Do you have a plan in place when it pumps? Do you have a plan in place when it dumps? Do you have anything in place? Because if you don't, now's the time to start figuring some of this out. The bull run hasn't fully hit. We are in the bull run. Yes, we haven't hit the full euphoric phase of the bull market yet, and you'll know when we're there. Like everyone will start reaching out to you because anyone that you know is in crypto will be like, how the fuck do I get into crypto? That's when you start feeling like, cool, maybe it's time to start scooping some profits off because you've done well. So just keep all of that in mind. And at the end of the day, folks, just remember it's a lovely time that we're here. Be appreciative of all the opportunities that you have available in front of you today to be even a part of this right now, to be a part of the story. And you got to, at the end of the day, make your own decision. So I hope all of y'all have a wonderful weekend. I'll catch you on the Pulse Nation stream soon, if not tomorrow, Sunday, but so much love. And we'll catch y'all next time. Peace.
I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a tough climb.